The following's been brought to you by Alpha Aesthetics Partners.
It didn't feel like it was mine. Like, it didn't feel me. Like, how I felt on the inside didn't match how I looked on the outside. But every time I looked in the mirror, I felt like I was always trying to compensate with something else, because I knew that, like, the first thing that people saw when they looked at me was my nose. I still wanted people to, like, see that it was me. And that was, like, the biggest thing is like, I just wanted to make sure I still look like myself, just like a more enhanced version.
The thing about plastic surgery that I didn't really understand until working in this industry was that if something has power over you that much and it's holding you back from choosing to take risks, to grow, to do different things, then maybe it's something you should consider, changing a little bit.
Like, if I go back in my content that I was sharing in the beginning and I look to now, and like the confidence that I have even when I just like talk on camera is incredible. Like, I'm just like, who was that person that was so timid and shy?
Because you're
and,
not
like,
thinking about it at all.
It just makes such a difference on the inside that it'll reflect on the outside.
I'm really happy that I have Sarah on today with us. Sarah, you and I met, let's see, I want to say, how long has it been now?
I think it's like a little over 2 years, like 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago. One of the nurses at Aesthetic Center was telling me how much she adores you and loves you and wanted me to meet you. And anybody that says that, we're like, okay. So she had mentioned like, oh, she's interested in a rhinoplasty, but do you just want to talk to her or whatever? Also, she's an influencer and, just you'd love meeting her if anything comes of it, whatever. So you and I met and you shared your story with me, and it has been such a pivotal moment in my career hearing your story. And the fact that you're so willing to share it with people has been a really nice gift that you've given, not just Aesthetic Center, but so many of our patients.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to have you on today to kind of hit on that a little bit. We've got some other things we're going to talk about too.
Yeah.
But, I'm filming my first, handful of episodes, and you were at the top of my list of people that I knew I wanted to share your journey with people. It impacted me so much that I know it will also impact so many other people. So I don't know. Do you want to start? Do you want me to share what I know?
Thanks. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and start? You so much and then I can go from there.
So my memory, and you can totally correct me, I can handle it.
Yeah.
My memory was you sat across from me and you were so vulnerable. And I actually get quite a few vulnerable people in my office. I would say at least once every other day I have someone crying in my office talking about something that that really has a big hold over them physically. Yeah. And you came in and you were like, my whole life I have been teased because of my nose. I in school I was bullied for it. I think it held me back in careers because I was so self-conscious of it. I didn't think I would be able to succeed in something because of my nose. And then you had one of the biggest things was you had told me, like, just recently from the time we had talked, a little boy came up to you at the grocery store and said, you have a witch nose. And one of the things that I was so kind of like taken aback, I think the normal human would have been like, somebody needs to teach their kids some manners or whatever. But your response was like, he was kind of right. Like, I did. And he was just being a kid.
Yeah.
And he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
And I see it every day. And that's the first thing I feel like people see when they look at me.
Yeah.
And it has a hold over me.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
But you had been afraid to do it for so long.
Yeah.
So what am I missing? What did I leave out?
I just feel like in that moment, like I was like, if he saw it because I see it. You know what I mean? Because like if I see it, he sees it. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's not that there was anything wrong with my nose. It just wasn't like, it didn't feel like it was mine. Like, it didn't feel me. Like, how I felt on the inside didn't match how I looked on the outside. I never saw myself like that. But every time I looked in the mirror, I felt like I was always trying to compensate with something else. So either wearing like a bigger hat, or my clothes had to be fancier, or just
sunglasses
more,
or sunglasses,
big sunglasses or something, just to like, because I always have had like this personality that I feel like is like just like warm and welcoming and big and bubbly. And so I just tried to overcompensate with other things because I knew that like the first thing that people saw when they looked at me was my nose.
And you're not alone in that. I want to say, you're probably, just because you're not afraid to share your story, you're not the only person that feels that. If I had a nickel for every person that came in that said the first thing people see on me is such and such, I mean, it happens to a lot of people. And the the thing about plastic surgery that I didn't really understand until working in this industry was that if something has power over you that much and it's holding you back from choosing to take risks, to grow, to do different things, then maybe it's something you should consider, changing a little bit. And you had really healthy sort of perspective and expectations. Yeah. So you weren't trying to look like someone else, although you were one of the rhinoplasties that was a significant change. Yeah. We try really hard not to do dramatic changes on people, but you were such a tiny person that it was a significant change on you because your nose was larger than your actual anatomy is on your face. So it was a significant change for you, but you had such healthy perspective and expectations as far as like what you wanted. You weren't bringing us some Instagram filtered photo and saying, I want to look like this, or some nose from Turkey that
I was
going to collapse in a year.
Like yeah. Like I did it. I wanted not to look like that. Like, cause I still wanted people to like see that it was me. And that was like the biggest thing is like, I just wanted to make sure I still look like myself, just like a more enhanced version. And I just felt like it was so calming to be able to talk to you and then just like knowing what I knew about Dr. Rice. And I kept having these signs where like, I was kind of assisting and doing some hair at the time at a salon. And I distinctly remember running into someone and I was telling them about how I was getting ready to have a rhinoplasty. I think it was like a week or two into it. And they were like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, where are you going to go? And I said, Dr. Rice. She's like, oh my gosh, I got my nose done by Dr. Rice and I loved it. And I'm just like, what? Like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but I don't think she would have told me that if I didn't like openly say it. And so I just thought it was really cool to like have that experience like right beforehand too, to just like kind of give me that extra confidence of being like, okay, yeah, like I already just knew going in, like feeling like this was just the right decision. And of course you're going to have doubts and stuff like that. Surgery, you're going to have these like feelings of like anxiety and nerves. And I shared a lot of that in my vlog. And I shared in my stories as well too. Like it's okay to feel like nervous, and it's a big change. It's a big change for your face. But like deep down, I knew that this is what I've always wanted. And I knew it was just going to be like just so much better for me mentally and just like for my entire life, my career and everything that I wanted for myself.
When you were telling me you were afraid to do it for so long, what were you afraid of?
I don't know. I think I was just so afraid of the change and like just being judged and like maybe making it more like I knew people knew that I was self-conscious about it, but I didn't want like people to like be like, oh, you changed yourself. Like you weren't happy with yourself. You were like, you didn't love yourself. And it's like, that's not true. Like I loved the person that I was. I loved my personality. I love who I am. And it's not that I didn't love how I looked. I just didn't like that one aspect.
Well, and your career is based on social media and what people think of you, which is pretty hard dynamic to have and be healthy minded. Yeah. And so I hear you when you say to be judged. I remember my youngest daughter, she's fine with me talking about this. So don't worry. I'm not sharing anything I'm not supposed to. But she had a crooked nose. I remember holding her as a newborn and looking down at her, and her septum was completely kicked out. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then as you grow, your nose grows. And so it kept growing off course and was crooked. And she also had a deviated septum and all the things that you had. And she came to me and she was like, I'm getting it done. I'm doing it. And I'm like, oh, you're so young. Like, am I a bad mom for letting her do this? Like, do you even know who you are on the inside before you start changing the outside? Yeah. And then that particular week that she was talking to me about it, I had two patients, one in her late 60s and one who was, I think, 71, totally unrelated to each other, come into my office and say, I have wanted my nose done since, and usually people say this, middle school or freshman year of high school. I think it's when women start looking in the mirror to put a little makeup on or do something so you start noticing those things more. So moms, pay attention to that age of your daughters because I think it's a hard time for them. But anyway, they both came in and one said, I've wanted my nose done since I was this age. And my mom made me feel so bad and guilty for wanting to change my face and like I was shallow. And then the other one said, oh, well, I was told my whole life it's the family nose and like you shouldn't change it and you're not confident enough if you can't learn to live with it. And they were so late in life doing it. And I was like, I think I might be that mom. Like I might be that person holding my daughter back. And she was like self-conscious of taking a picture straight on because her nose was crooked. And like the similar to you when you were saying like, there were times where I just didn't feel like the inside matched the outside and I was self-conscious. Yeah. And so the fear of judgment from your family, from social media, from all of that. Like, it's heavy.
Putting yourself out there too, like knowing that I was going to make the change. Like, it's something that I always knew that if I was going to do it, I was going to do it publicly.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what. I was going because I wasn't going to be that person that was going to hide it.
Right. Well,
like,
it's obvious when you do what you do.
Yeah. And not even just that, but like people are going to know I did it anyway. So why not share it? Because like someone else is probably going through the same thing and it might help them through it. And surprisingly enough, I've had so many people in my DMs that I don't even know, complete strangers, just like reaching out to me and asking me just like questions because they felt comfortable because of how I shared it.
Well, I think one of the most beautiful things is getting to see you be so happy after. And you're on so much of our marketing tools, and it doesn't even share that you're a rhino patient. It's just your image and your face, and it's been like so fun to see you be. You're always, like you said in the beginning, warm and welcoming, and you're very joyful. You're definitely one of my favorite people to follow on Instagram. I'm kind of like obsessed with you. You know that.
You're so sweet.
I'm always sliding in your DMs telling you stuff, but you do have that really sweet countenance. But to see the outside match the inside, and you even take it a step higher, has been really cool to witness. And I got to see that same thing with my daughter. I got to see, like, down the road a year, all healed up, like, oh, she's on fire.
Yep.
Like, she wasn't sexualizing herself or anything like that. She was just tweaking something to feel a little bit better about herself.
Yeah.
And the freedom that it gave her was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I've sort of witnessed from the backseat of being your friend, is watching it give you all this freedom to
It's not a
love
worry
yourself
in my head anymore. Like, it used to be like I would sit down somewhere and like whether it was a restaurant or wherever I was sitting, and if I would go sit down, if I was like, I could never have someone like on the right side of me because that was like my bad side. And now it's like that thought doesn't even cross my mind anymore. Like, it's almost like, and I had that for 33 years at the time. Like, I was 33 years. I was constantly thinking about, okay, if I'm going to sit somewhere, like, I don't want someone to see the side of my face. So I was like sat against a wall, or
and you're not alone.
Yeah.
I had to tell you, like, again, how many people have sat in my office and said, I don't want to go on a date where he has to drive me somewhere because if he looks at me from the side, I'll be so self-conscious of him seeing my nose from the side.
Yeah.
And some of that is like, we definitely need to find the balance. And, you know, I've talked before in other podcasts that we've already filmed about how we vet our patients and make sure they're in a really good place mentally before stepping into a change like that, which you certainly were. You knew for sure you wanted it.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know how your family handled it. Like, was anyone like, hey, I think you're crazy, don't do this?
No, they knew I wanted it my whole life. No, they knew.
You had no pressure.
I said from a young age, like, that was if I'm going to get any surgery, if I'm going to get anything done, I'm getting a rhinoplasty. And I don't know if like my family necessarily like thought I was like serious and actually going to do it. They knew that I was always like, you know, scared of needles, scared of surgery, all that stuff. Like, I didn't even get my wisdom teeth taken out when I was supposed to because I was scared of surgery, but I was going to get a rhinoplasty. But I'm doing this. Like, I was like, I will get that done. So it was just one of those things where it was like, I just knew that like this was something that I was going to do eventually. I just didn't know when. And I think obviously, you know, just the right timing and right place and right people and stuff like that. Like, it was just like meant to be at the time that it was. Of course, you know, my one regret was like I didn't do it sooner. Like,
everyone says that.
It's like everyone's thing. But it's just like most of my family members were like, wow, you look amazing. Like, you look so good. My dad's like, you look so happy. Yeah, my brother was just like, you look so different. Like, I think my youngest brother was probably like the most shocked. And he was just kind of like, wow, that's really different. You know, but he's just kind of a little bit more outspoken of all of us in the family.
I do remember that with my daughter, like her sitting across from me. And once her nose was straight, you get used to seeing it one way for so long that every day she sat across from me at the dinner table and it was kind of the swelling was going down and it was changing. I was like, this is so weird. Like, where's my baby's face?
Yeah.
But it is her. And it has become her
I think now
more and more that I see her.
So used to it now. So it's like it just takes an adjustment. Yeah. But most people, even my husband was like, I don't even remember you before.
Right?
Which is crazy.
Isn't that interesting?
I don't even remember me
you
before.
have to like do a side by side. Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, I'm just like, I see, like, if I go back in my content that I was sharing in the beginning and I look to now and like the confidence that I have even when I just like talk on camera is incredible. Like, I'm just like, who was that person that was so timid and shy?
Because you're not
like,
thinking about it at all.
I don't think about it. I just speak. And that's because it's like I'm not worried about.
You're free.
It's like I'm freeing. I'm just like free. It's great.
I say that to people too. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I share that with people about liposuction. I didn't understand how fat cells worked until I was like in my 40s, how we are given a certain amount through, by the time we're done with puberty, we have the fat cells we're going to have.
Yeah.
You can get more through pregnancy and hormone changes as a woman, men, lucky them. But we all have problem areas, you know, whether it's our neck or whatever. We all have a little problem area sometimes somewhere on our body. When you're young, you don't notice it because our metabolism is so quick that when we lose weight, those fat cells shrink, and when we gain weight, they expand.
Yeah.
So as you age and your metabolism slows down, it's harder to get those fat cells to shrink.
Yep.
So I'm always, you know, thinking, now, if you're trying to do liposuction to be a lifestyle change, that's something different that I'm not actually, I don't have the degree to back up any kind of opinion on that. But as far as like a little problem area, like a buccal fat or a jawline or a bra fat mark or, you know, something like that, I'm like, stop fighting it. Just get it taken out because you'll feel so free that you never think about it again.
Yeah.
And so, trying to find that sweet balance between the two of like overdoing things, but also understanding like it's okay to make those changes and to not feel guilty about them.
Yeah. Yeah. And at no point did I feel guilty. And I got to the point too where like a couple of my videos that I shared of my before and after kind of went a little viral on both platforms.
It went crazy.
And I was like, okay, I know I'm going to get some negative, some positive, mostly positive. It was like probably 85% positive. And then there was your occasional person that was like, why would you change your nose? You had a beautiful nose before. And just like all that stuff. Some people were a little bit more rude.
We like to project.
Yes. And I was like, I get it. You know, whatever. Everyone has their own opinion. But nothing anybody could say would shake me because I was just so confident in my decision. And it was like, I was so happy that it didn't matter to me what anybody else thought. But I cared so much about what I looked like before. But now it's just like, it doesn't even shake me. So it's just like full body chills. Like that's how I just knew. It was like, this was what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
This was just in my journey.
What'd you tell your kids? I know they were young.
Yeah. So my daughter, let's see, she was 8 and my son was, I want to say he was just a little under 2. So he didn't really understand much. He thought I had a boo-boo. He just goes, Mommy has a boo-boo. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, just a little boo-boo, but it'll get all better.
Self-inflicted.
I don't think he really remembers me that much before how I was, but my daughter definitely does. But it's funny because my daughter goes, wow, Mom, you look so much better.
You're like,
and I'm
honestly
just like,
hurts.
oh, wow, girl, okay. But that doesn't affect me either because that just, I mean, that I want to show her that it's okay to like, if you need to do a little tweaking here and there to like make yourself feel good, right? Like that's okay. Like I want her to know that. Like my parents never were like, oh, don't get a nose job or anything like that. It was just kind of more like, okay, like, you know, save up for it, you know what I mean? And like get it done when you can afford it kind of a thing. And it's like, I get that and I understand that. It just wasn't my time then. And so just knowing that like, you know, you can eventually get to that point where you can truly be happy by just doing like little things, like little tweaks here and there, like it just makes such a difference on the inside that it'll reflect on the outside.
I definitely agree with that. I've been really transparent with my family on anything I've had done.
Yeah.
And my reason behind it is I've got 2 adult daughters and I have 4 granddaughters. And, you know, I just want them to know it's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally okay. And it's all about balance. Like you definitely,
balance for sure.
You definitely can't go one way or the other too hard.
Yeah.
But I want them to know like, hey, when... you know, you're my age and you're struggling with that extra skin or whatever it may be, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And just make sure you're really educated on it. And like you had said, super confident in the decision.
Yes.
And you know you're doing it for yourself and not anyone else.
Yes.
And you're all in and that no one's comments
they can't shake you.
Can't shake you. That's the right time. That's when you know you're doing it for yourself. Yeah. So that's super healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, you're an influencer for us at Aesthetic Center. Yes. And that means you come in, have procedures, and you share with everyone on social media sort of some of the things you've had done with us. So I wanted to hit on what are some of the things you've done and what's like your top favorite besides rhinoplasty?
So I'm very much a creature of habit. I love my Botox. I like not having my forehead lines. That's another one of my like kind of spots that I was not so confident in because I feel like I like having my hair pulled back and having those forehead lines just shows my age. Not that I don't care that I'm 35, but I just, you know, like to look a little bit younger if I could. We all do, right? Like doesn't hurt. So refreshed, yes. So definitely like my forehead Botox is probably one of my favorite things. I noticed a huge difference in just like my confidence when I just started even just doing that. And it's like bare minimum. Like I still have some movement and I think I got it done not too long ago. It's kind of nice. I'm trying to like, find a sweet spot. thought, right? And then I also get the masseter Botox, which was game changing. I actually that wasn't a procedure that was like on my radar. And Katrina actually brought it up to me. She's like, have you ever tried masseter Botox? And I was like, no, what is that? And she's like, it's amazing, because she had done it. And I was like, okay. And so I wasn't even thinking like it was going to like slim my jawline or do anything aesthetically. For me, it was like I clenched my teeth and grinded my teeth all the time, just unknowingly. I would be doing dishes and I'm like constantly grinding my teeth. I mean, anybody that's a mom knows that, like, you know, life can be stressful. And so I just kind of like am one of those people that's just like constantly clenching my teeth. And I was doing it mainly for that purpose, which was amazing, because you almost like instantly, I felt relaxation. Like I was just like, wow, okay, I'm not like clenching all the time. This is great. And then after like, I want to say like 2 months, all of a sudden I'm like noticing that my like jaw is like really snatched. And I'm like, what is happening? And I looked back in some pictures and I was like, wow, like that makes a huge difference. Like I had no
The
idea.
before and afters are pretty great.
How big my masseters were. Like Kelly tells me all the time, she's like, you have some of the biggest masseters I think I've ever seen. And I'm like, that's wild. And I literally had no idea, but that's gotta be by far probably one of my favorites. It's such a simple procedure, but it's definitely like one of my favorite.
Something you really are grateful to you.
Yeah,
that's
because it's like a 2-for-1.
Yeah,
it's helping me not clench and it's snatching my jaw. I mean,
all right,
that's
sounds
a win-win.
Good.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone, but you're definitely a good candidate for it.
Definitely.
So I want to change tunes a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your mom walk, but I want to talk about. I'm curious. Maybe I'm totally off here. If you could share, if you're comfortable sharing about the loss of your child and how difficult that was, and if that has anything to do with when you created Folsom Mom Walk and kind of have the two are connected.
Yeah. So, with the loss of my child, so I'll just kind of briefly touch on that a little bit, just because it's kind of a long story. But essentially, as you know, I had a middle son named Mason, and he would have been 6 next month, actually. He passed away from a rare genetic disorder called OTC deficiency. So it's basically like his body could not process protein. So instead of it turning into protein and then going into ammonia, urinated out, his body would just hold on to the ammonia. So it basically is toxic for your whole body. As males have 1 X chromosome and females have 2, males can't typically live with it, whereas females can. We just have to like modify our diet a little bit. So me and my daughter are both vegan now, knowing that that's what it is and like the gene that we both carry. So my gene is technically active, so I have to be really strict with my diet. My daughter's is not. So we're still giving her the same diet as me, just because it makes it easier for her going on in life, and she can change it later on down the road when she can like weigh out protein and stuff like that. But essentially Mason, he only lived for 3 days in the hospital, and they were able to find out what it was because we were still in the hospital. If we would have left, then we would have never known. And so by finding out what he had and him passing, me and my daughter were blessed enough to know that like we had this gene and like it basically could saved our lives. Because at any point in time, we could have the gene could have turned active from any like physiological stress, and we could have eaten too much protein and it would have just basically shut our entire system down, which is wild. So it's pretty rare. It's like, I want to say like 1 in 35,000 babies are affected.
Wow.
And it was like a gene mutation. So my mom didn't have the gene. It was while she was pregnant with me in utero, it just
created.
It basically was a genetic mutation, which is crazy. From radiation or environment, they don't really know. They can't prove it. But
I know you always post about him on the anniversary of his passing, and your family still very much is open about.
Yeah, I'm very open about talking about it. It's helped me heal. And I think just like also my son Oliver, so he'll be 4 next month. He was actually born on the exact same day, 2 years later, that my son Mason passed away. So that always like shocks people and gives full body chills, because it's like, to me, it even doesn't feel real. It's a 100% a God thing. I truly believe that there's parts of Mason inside Oliver, because sometimes he'll say things and I'm just like, how do you know that? You're so young. Like, where did that come from? And he's such a blessing. So yeah, after the loss of Mason, I was I had just moved back here. Let's see, we lost him in 2019. Then I moved back here in 2022 from living in LA for a while. And I was with my parents at the time and kind of like postpartum. My son was 15 months. Oliver was 15 months. And I was just trying to figure out like life again. Life after loss, life after career change. I was doing makeup for a long time. I was doing influencing, but also makeup. And so I just, after COVID, I was like, I'm just gonna do influencing full time. And so I started really sharing my life and my family, my loss and stuff like that. And then I was like sensing community. Like I really craved community, like local community, like people that I could like connect to.
Tangibly talk to.
Yes. Yeah. Like I
not just
love
over a
social
DM.
media. Yeah. But it didn't feel the same. Like I just craved that like
I wonder how many
connection.
influencers feel that way. Like your job is to basically connect with people through a screen.
Yeah.
That part of you is missing the tangible relationships.
I love connecting with local influencers. Like whenever I find them out here, I'm always like, let's do things together. Like I love it because it's like I love that like social aspect online, but I also really love like in-person stuff, especially like when you can relate. Like as an influencer, you understand like the lifestyle, you understand what it takes and all the time that you have to take away from your family sometimes. And like it's definitely like it's a blessing of a job, but it's also a lot of work. And so I definitely crave that community, even if the people even if someone's not an influencer, like I just wanted someone to relate to like as a mom, and I wanted my kids to be able to like be around other kids and stuff like that. And so although I grew up here and I went to high school out here, a lot of people were in different phases of life, and I was having a hard time like connecting with people again and like getting together with people. So I was just like, okay, well, I do social media, and I had the idea of just like starting like a local page essentially where people could come and meet up and get to know each other and bring their kids. And I got the idea originally from the Mom Walk Collective, but then I was like, I do social media. I could probably do this on my own. And I just had like kind of a vision of like aesthetically what I wanted it to look like and stuff like that. And so I started this group on Instagram called, it was at the time Folsom Mom Walk Co. And now it's Folsom Moms Club. And I just do local walks and meetups at coffee shops and parks for moms in the area, and even not in the area. I mean, you can literally be in Roseville or Sacramento, like wherever you're from. It doesn't matter. It's just I just chose Folsom because most people know.
And you have like
the name.
I mean, what's the biggest amount you've ever had show up?
I mean, I think it was like 45 or 50 people at one time. We were doing a pretty good giveaway, so that's why I think.
But like they're very successful.
Yeah,
so successful that it's funny. I have 4 kids, 2 of which are single. And I was telling my daughter and her cousin, who is also single or was single, not anymore, that we should create a singles walk.
Yes.
Like I was like, just picture it. Just Sunday nights. You go, there's no commitment. Nobody's has to pay for anything. You're just showing up with a bunch of single people and they just all go for a walk on Sundays or whatever day of the week it is. And it's single walk.
Yeah.
And they all laughed at me and said it was crazy and they would never show up and that the only people that would come would be really weird. And I was like, okay. But you're my inspiration.
It's so hard to put yourself out there. And like, of course, nothing's going to be perfect at first. And like, I expected my very first walk. I was like, I only had like, I don't know, 20, 30 followers at the time. Like, I was like, okay, like no one's going to show up. But even if one person showed up, like.
You made a friend.
That's a friend. You know what I mean? So 15 people showed up at the first walk, and I was very, very like, wow, surprised. Like, this is amazing. And word just kind of started spreading fast. Also, like being in like influencer and like the marketing world, I kind of knew how to like market it
navigate
a little bit.
That process. Yeah.
So I did in the beginning. I tried to like find like as many local moms as possible, follow, have them tell other moms and stuff like that, posted in Facebook groups and stuff like that. And then now it's like pretty much all just word of mouth. And I still on average get about 10 to 15 moms every single walk.
That's great.
Which is great.
I love it. I think it's such a cool thing
too, which is amazing. Or people that are just finding out they're pregnant and then they're following the walk for a year or 2 beforehand, and then they're able to come.
I get to join the club.
Yeah, or they have their first, and I got to see their first when they had their first, and now they're having their second. And so we do like social events too. Like I'll work with like local businesses, like fitness. We do fitness classes, which are so fun. We'll do like different sip and shops at like local like boutiques and stuff like that, and kind of like a little mommy's night out.
I think sometimes being a mom, specifically a mom that spends a lot of time at home with her kids, is really lonely.
Oh, yeah. I was super lonely before.
Yeah. And you feel like you're on an island by yourself and you don't, you have hard days and you're not sure who to share it with or if anyone else is feeling that way. Or I was just in vacation this last weekend and I was talking to a mom that has just one child, and she was like, sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life.
It feels
and
like
I said,
forever.
Oh yeah, I remember that with the first one, like going, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? And she goes, wait, you really felt that? And I was like, yeah, But if you don't have a network to pull from to help you in those moments,
so
it can be very lonely. So I think it's just so cool what you've accomplished with that.
Thank you.
So I'm bouncing all over the place.
That's okay.
I have 3 questions that I've asked every person that's been on the show.
Okay.
And they've been really interesting to hear.
Okay.
And you've got such a cool life. I want to talk about those 3 questions.
Okay.
And then I also want to talk about all the stuff you pushed on me on Amazon. Do you know how much stuff I've bought because of you?
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, oh, I need that drying rack. Sarah's promoting it on Amazon. Gosh. It must be good.
Thank you.
So it's working. Your influence is definitely working. Okay. So let's go from becoming an influencer. If you could put a single sentence on a billboard, what would it say?
I thought long and hard about this question, actually. Yeah. I was like, what would I do? Like, I don't know. I mean,
I did tell you ahead of time. I texted you last night.
You did. And I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, what would I do? And I just like sat there selfishly thinking about all of these quotes that, I don't know, were just like kind of, they felt more like revolved around me, which I didn't really feel like it should be like that. I feel like it should be something that like would inspire a bunch of people, like everyone. And I just feel like I would go probably along the lines, if it's God's will, it's God's way. And I just am that person that I just feel like everyone should feel the love from God, because for a long time, I've had a really rough past. I've done a lot of things. A lot of people that know me from before know that I've like lived a very full life. And yeah, like, while I have some regrets.
That must be why I like you so much.
Well, I have
Those
some
are the
regrets.
people I'm the most attracted to that have gone through some pretty hard stuff.
Very hard things. Like even, I mean, I've had the loss of my child, but before that, there were like really hard things as well too. And so people that know my past probably look at my life and go, wow, she's like, something changed in her. Like, where did this come from? Because I was not the same person I was 10 years ago. Like,
I love you sharing that, because I had just talked on one of our other episodes about my testimony of people changing, and the world tells you all the time, people never change. They never change. If someone wants to really look at themselves, they can change, and they can change dramatically.
Yeah, I like completely 180'd my life. It was crazy. I was not in a good place. I was like, I mean, I'm coming up on 1 year in August of not drinking any alcohol either, which is kind of
welcome
weird.
to my club.
And I just like randomly decided to do that one day. I was just like, every time I had a glass of wine, I would feel like a little nauseous and just be like, what is wrong with me? Like, my body, is my body telling me I shouldn't drink this anymore? Like, I drank a lot in my 20s. I partied a lot. I did a lot of things. I have a very colorful past. So I just was like feeling the sense of like emptiness in spaces of my life, not knowing where to like turn or where to go to. And I feel like as soon as I moved here, God placed the best people in my life and exactly what I needed. And I found just so much joy through just seeing what I could really do with my life, and like the small changes, how the small changes over time have just
turned into big changes.
And like, because it's been so long and it's taken a long time to get to where I'm at, it doesn't seem like it's a lot. But if I go back and I really like look at where I was 15 years ago, I'm a completely different person. And I don't think that would be possible if it wasn't for God. So that's probably
that's a good one. You chose a really good one.
Oh.
I don't drink either.
Yeah.
And my husband doesn't drink either. And we always tell our family, we're like, nothing good comes from alcohol.
No.
I mean, sometimes nothing comes from it at all, and it's fine and it's no big deal, but
Sugar
nothing good literally ever comes from drinking it.
Yeah.
So it's just not worth it.
No, it's just not worth it anymore. Like, I was just like over it. I have so much more fun sober. I cannot tell you. I have done so many trips with my girlfriends, and we are all sober. I went to Nashville sober. Yeah. Went to Calistoga sober.
It's hard for people sometimes to be around the sober person, though. Like, I feel like I'm not invited to certain things because I don't drink, and they're like, oh, she probably won't be fun.
Oh,
but I honestly, I'm like, I think I'm way better not drinking than when I was younger. I did, and I was the girl on the tables dancing, and I'm like, although that was fine for that season, like, no more. And I have a great time, and I never feel like I'm missing out or anything on it. And the people that know me well, they're like, oh no, she's fun. She doesn't have to drink to be fun.
No, my like 25-year-old mom friends, like, you ask them if I'm a good time sober, they would be shocked. They'd be like, are you sure you didn't drink something? I mean, like, we did some karaoke the other night, and I was like dancing all over the place, and they were like, she's sober. She's the one sober. And I'm like, I think
that comes from confidence within.
It does.
When you can be that kind of, because everyone says like alcohol's like liquid courage.
Yeah.
But you don't really need the liquid courage if you really know who you are. And if you like who you are, you've got it.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's a good gift.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, let's move on to my next question. What are your last 3 ChatGPT prompts?
Oh gosh, let me look at that. I'll tell you one that I did the other day. So I had this picture I took with my girlfriends. We had just done a at-home workout, and we took a picture in front of her TV on the outside. And they're still kind of remodeling outside, so there's some cords and stuff on the ground. And I was like, I could throw this in Lightroom and probably edit this. But you know what, ChatGPT, can you do me a favor? Can you just make this look more aesthetic?
I didn't think about that.
And clean up the cords and stuff like that. Okay, well, Chat is still kind of learning things. Remember, AI.
Oh no, did it turn you into a cat or something?
No, we weren't. The faces were completely different. AI made different people.
Oh my gosh,
so different. And so I was like, what? And I was just had no idea that it was
what you were getting yourself into.
You also specifically, I feel have to ask Chat. You have
to
just
move the records,
what they're asking. Yeah, because otherwise, if I was kind of vague a little bit,
that's funny.
But it changed all of us. We didn't even look like the same people. I mean, it was an aesthetic photo.
It's kind of scary, right?
It is a little scary.
People are gonna be catfished a lot.
Oh, 100%. So let me open this up here, and I'll tell you what my last 2 were. But that one was yesterday. I did that one yesterday.
That's funny. Well. You live and you learn.
You do.
I just found out that you can put in it how much money you want to spend, what dates you want to go, and where you want to go on a vacation, and it will give you a complete itinerary of where to go, what days, and how to keep you within your budget on your vacation.
Oh, yes.
I was like, oh, this just opened up a whole can of worms.
There's so much I feel you can do with it. It's incredible.
Scary good.
Oh, I asked it how to rephrase something and make it not sound insensitive. So I was posting on TikTok, and I was like, can you make this not sound insensitive or offensive to anyone? Because sometimes
I need that when I'm talking to my husband.
I will literally the fire within me, and I have to try to calm myself down. The fire within me wants to react and say things that a little spicy here and there.
Yeah,
I gotta settle down and just rethink and really think about
that could be so good for marriages. Before you
100%
have this conversation with your spouse, you put in your feelings and then have it articulate how to say it kinder.
It's the best way. Honestly, it's my little pocket therapist.
That could have saved me a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That was a good one. So we did that one. And then, I asked it how to give me a quote and rephrase it that was faith-based and Jesus-centered. Because as a Christian learning still, I wanted to make sure that I articulated what I was writing correctly, because sometimes I feel just being so new in faith and stuff like that, although I've had it before in my past when I was younger, I feel I've recently just dove full force into it. I wanted to make sure that I was articulating it properly so that people weren't coming
in a
back
respectful
at me.
way.
In a respectful way, and just where someone can't come back at me and just be like, that's not right. You can't say that. I'm always afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing.
I love it. I barely write any of my own emails anymore for work. I mean, I do for obviously one-on-one contact, but anything that I need to send out, an agenda or whatever, I just really enjoy using it for that. It saves me a good 20 minutes every single time.
Oh, yeah.
Just all the thought process. So it's a good one. Okay, my last question for you, let's see here, is what's the craziest adventure you've ever been on?
Oh, man. I was thinking about this one too, and I'm like, I've just done so much in my life. It's almost just the last. I remember so much from my life now and before, because it was so wild. I'm just
I really want to dive into this wildness.
It's very wild. I mean, there's few people that know, but I lived in LA. I did makeup for a long time. I worked for Chanel. So I was and I was with my husband. I only had my daughter at the time. So it was I was traveling a lot. And I mean, there's some R-rated stuff I have.
But you may not want to share that your daughter listens to someday.
I will not,
I get it.
But but it's just you live and you learn, right? We're all teens once and stuff like that. But I just love the person I am today. So it's weird. It's your brain blocks out your past.
The change is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
When I talk to people that I know that have made significant changes in their life,
yeah,
they do kind of forget who they were. They don't forget the things that happened, but they can't connect with who they used to be anymore because it's so far gone and out of them.
It is. It
and
truly
if you
is.
learn
It's
about
incredible.
therapy and the rewiring of the brain, it's super accurate. That is how it's supposed to happen. You are supposed to sort of be free from that stuff, and
that's crazy,
and be able to focus more on the forward movement than the back.
Yeah.
So it's a healing process. But
I know.
So what's your adventure?
I feel it's just the adventure of. It's not necessarily a positive adventure. It's not necessarily a negative adventure, but it's the adventure that I've had just learning to grow into the person who I am, and the person who I've become, and everything that I've gone through, and the grief, and growing in my confidence, and just my family and my marriage, my friendships, and just all of it. I feel like that the life I currently am living
has been the adventure
is
to get
the adventure.
There. I love that.
It really is. And I just feel like I'm just so blessed, and I'm so grateful to have people in my corner that I like love and care about, and be able to be in their corner and just like have this like impact on others to like love themselves and show them that they can love themselves. And it's not selfish, because if you're doing it in the right way and like you're so confident in yourself and your decisions, that like you're unstoppable.
Yeah, I love that. My son Connor and I do this thing. I'm sure you've seen it on TikTok or whatever, where he'll write me this sort of text that says, I'm 35 years old today, or I'm this many years old today, and I woke up to my 4 kids and this, and he's a firefighter, so he'll be like, I went to the fire department and we were able to put out a house fire, or I got to go to church and I learned this today, or whatever. And like, I keep them in a special little file on my phone, like someday to share with his kids. But that's the adventure, right?
It is the adventure.
That is the adventure,
and
and
just being
able
so
to have
grateful for where you're at right now, and just like what you have, and just like constantly being reminded of that, like the things that we wake up and have every day. Like, we're so grateful to be able to wake up and have our health and have our family and have our children and a roof over our heads. And
just I mean, I think it's still important. Like, I've been through some dark stuff, and I don't like to say how, I just all the positive over and over. I mean, I clearly want to share that, but I do think on those, there are times so anyone that's listening to this, like that's going through the adventure of life, kind of like you had said, like going from your young 20s and making bad decisions and things that you definitely don't want to share publicly. That it's okay to be sad. It's okay to have regrets. And it's okay to like sit in the yuck for a while, because that's how we grow. That's how we change. If we keep trying to lift the rug up and sweep it under there, then there's not the adventure of life where you get to be where you're at today. So, anyone that's listening that's like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of hearing all this gratitude stuff. Like, I get it. I've been there. It's okay to be mad.
To get to the gratitude,
but you got to get in it. You got to sit in your,
sit
in it for a while before you get to the other end. Well, as I expected, I enjoyed having you so much today.
Thank you.
Thank you for being so vulnerable and honest and genuine. I know for a fact that who you are and the fact that you're willing to share it definitely helps people be inspired and want to make changes, whether it's something that's holding them back physically or changes in their lifestyle or reaching out. And I was just talking to my son and saying, he's a gatherer of friends, and he's the one who's always organizing friends coming over or whatever. And I always say, like, if you want to be invited to a party, you got to have a party. And that's kind of like what you do with your mom club.
So true.
And it's just pretty great.
I craved people for so long. And then I was like, if I want people in my life, I got to go ask for it.
Got to get it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. And we will definitely make sure that we tag your Instagram account for people to follow you, and anyone interested in joining your Folsom Mom Club, like that they can come on some walks with you and get to know you personally, like I've had the opportunity.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, subscribe for more stories like this.